Hello, Barcelona family. Like and subscribe to the channel to know everything about Barcelona. In this video, we have 3 pieces of news concerning our beloved club. Let's move on to the first. Nico Paz, the unknown talent who could wear the blue and deep red. Let's get to the first of the big news coming from the camp offices. Barcelona continues to make steady strides with unwavering determination in its exciting reconstruction process. The focus is more than ever on the future, and with the conviction that if we want to reign again in Europe, lift the much-desired Champions League, we must know how to detect authentic and valuable opportunities where others see only mirages, where others stay on the surface. In this sense, our president Joan Laporta has once again demonstrated his privileged flair in the transfer market, his ability to anticipate moves and see hidden potential. While in Madrid, our eternal rival tries to sell smoke with inflated operations, reconstructions that never materialize and generate more noise than results, in the Catalan city, there is increasing talk, with more insistence and conviction, of the name Nico Paz as a real, concrete, and extremely interesting possibility. Yes, the Cules, the young Hispano-Argentine who has shone with his own light this season in the modest Italian Como and who, despite his white past, his training at the Madrid factory, could wear the blue and deep red in a twist both symbolic and strategic, a masterstroke that could hurt deeply in the capital. Because Barcelona is not just looking for pure talent, the kind that shines in individual actions, it is looking for something deeper. Identity, unwavering commitment, hunger for glory, unbridled youth, and, above all, tactical intelligence that allows the player to integrate into our complex playing system. And Nico Paz perfectly fits this profile, trained in a demanding environment, under the pressure of one of the most media-covered training centers in the world. The young midfielder has evolved in silence, far from the blinding spotlights of the capital's press, working tirelessly match after match in a modest Italian team, Como, until he caught the attention of all of Europe with his exceptional performances. At Como, he found quality minutes, the necessary confidence to take risks, and the freedom to develop his game without constraints. He became a key piece in the team scheme, taking on responsibilities and demonstrating a maturity beyond his years and an understanding of the game that fits perfectly with the philosophy that Hansi Flick wants to implement in the new Blaugrana project. He is a footballer with game vision, a pass, and the ability to read spaces, essential virtues for our midfield. With 6 goals and 6 assists this season in a demanding championship like the Italian Serie B, Nico has not only shown statistically, in the cold numbers that so often deceive, but also in organization. He is a player with a great tactical reading of the match, a surprising arrival in the opponent's box, an enviable vision for the final pass that unlocks defenses, and an innate ability to connect the lines, linking defense, midfield, and attack with fluidity. A modern and versatile total midfielder who understands the game at the speed required in elite football. And this has not gone unnoticed by Can Barça. Laporta and Deco have already discussed the subject in detail and, although there is not yet a formal offer on the table, there is an internal conviction, a generalized feeling in the sports management that he is a footballer who could perfectly fit into the Barcelona machinery, bringing much-needed versatility. This would not be the first time that a promising talent slips from the hands of the eternal rival to land at Camp Nou, and it could be one of those stories that hurt in the capital, that cause itching among its supporters, but that in Barcelona are celebrated as true strategic victories, as moves of authority in the market. Of course, as in any market operation involving a promising young talent, Inter Milan is also in the race, showing strong interest. The Italian club has closely followed Nico Paz's performances and considers him a priority option to strengthen their midfield after ruling out other profiles that did not fully convince them. But this is where the Barça factor comes into play, that unique magnetism that only our club possesses. The player's unwavering desire to wear the blue and deep red, the undeniable appeal of the sporting proposition we offer him, and the real possibility of being part of a young, dynamic project with a clear European projection, aspiring to the maximum, can be decisive. And even more so when the player has already given clear indications of his interest in listening to all proposals, in seriously evaluating each option, even if it means returning to Spain, but not precisely to the same side of the bridge where the doors were closed or where he did not receive the necessary confidence to shine. While in the capital, they shout at the top of their lungs about exorbitant termination clauses, complex buyback rights, and percentages on future sales. In Barcelona, they talk about a sporting project, pure football, and the future. Nico Paz's entourage knows perfectly well that here, he could find not only quality minutes in the first team but also the perfect environment to grow, evolve, and consolidate himself as an elite footballer, surrounded by great players and under the tutelage of a top-level coach like Flick. Hansi Flick has given the green light to his profile, his blessing, and considers him a reinforcement that would fit perfectly into his idea of a technical, vertical midfield capable of managing the rhythms of the game, imposing our law in midfield. Laporta, always attentive to these strategic moves that go beyond the present, has begun to move his pieces with discretion but with determination. The priority is not only to improve the present of the squad, but also to secure the future, to lay the foundations for a new era of success. And signing Nico Paz would be a doubly intelligent move, a coup with multiple benefits, adding a young talent with proven quality, a midfielder with international projection, and, in the process, snatching a gem, a potential leader from the one who once boasted of his training without giving him the real opportunity to consolidate in the first team. Do you think it would be a strategic and footballing success to bring in a talent trained in the eternal rivals academy, but with the DNA and virtues to integrate at Camp Nou and triumph with our colors? Or do you think his white past, having been in the rivals academy, could weigh too heavily in the perception of the dressing room and the stands, generating unnecessary doubts? The second piece of news concerns an important decision in our beloved club. The future of Nico Williams is getting closer and closer to being tinged with blue and deep red, and everything indicates that Barcelona is ready to take the definitive step, the necessary move to secure the services of one of the most promising, unbalancing wingers with the greatest projection in the entire European football scene. Nico's figure represents not only a very high-level reinforcement for the Catalan team's offensive scheme, a true dagger for rival defenses, but also a resounding declaration of intent from the institution led by Joan Laporta. Because when a player of his superlative quality is available on the market with an affordable release clause and his manifest, public, and notorious desire to wear the Barça shirt, the club, our club, simply cannot stand idly by. For months, the name of Nico Williams has resonated with deafening force in the halls of Camp Nou, almost like a constant echo. His supersonic speed, his unstoppable dribbling ability in one-on-one situations, his innate skill at breaking defensive lines with vertical runs, and his game vision in the final third of the field, which disrupts schemes, make him an ideal piece, almost tailor-made for the style of play that Hansi Flick is consolidating in our team. A bold, direct, dynamic style that always seeks to control the game through intelligent possession but also prioritizes verticality and depth when necessary to break down closed defenses and hurt the opponent. Nico, with his exquisite technical profile and impressive physique, fits perfectly into this approach. He is not just an unbalancing player, capable of generating advantages by his mere presence, but also a footballer committed to defensive effort, with an enviable work ethic and a winning mentality, three virtues that are not easy to find together in a young talent and make him even more valuable for our project. The contractual situation of Nico Williams is another determining factor that has pushed Barça to make a decisive move and intensify the process. With a release clause that, as mentioned, is affordable for the club's current finances, and the players will clearly and unequivocally incline towards the Catalan club, the sports management has in its hands an operation that, if managed with the necessary intelligence, firmness, and discretion, can be concluded effectively and beneficially for all parties involved. The player's closest entourage has already communicated clearly and directly on several occasions that his greatest dream is to play at Camp Nou, to wear the blue and deep red shirt, and this predisposition not only greatly facilitates negotiations with athletic club, but also adds an emotional component, a value that must always be taken into account in this type of transfer. Because at Barça, we not only recruit talented players, we recruit heart, absolute commitment, identification with a unique style of play, and a glorious history that goes beyond a simple club. It is precisely this unwavering desire of Nico Williams to play for Barcelona that has generated palpable nervousness and growing concern in Bilbao. The management of the Basque club has begun to deploy an unprecedented institutional offensive to try to curb the departure of their star player, attempting to retain him at all costs. They have traveled to various forums, pressured sports bodies, tried to sow doubts about the economic viability of Barça, clung to repeated speeches, questioning the Catalan club's compliance with financial fair play regulations, and in a desperate attempt to discredit the operation. But the truth is that when a footballer wants to leave his club and do so towards one of the continent's giants, like Barcelona, it is very difficult, almost impossible, to stop the moving train, especially if that train is called Barça and the footballer has the deep conviction that his sporting and personal growth can only continue under the blue and deep red umbrella, where he will feel fully realized and a protagonist. The operation, although apparently complex due to the resistance of the selling club and the high amount of the clause, is more advanced and on track than many think, even more so than what is reported in the media. Joan Laporta has demonstrated in recent years that, beyond the temporary economic difficulties the club has faced, he knows how to navigate the transfer markets with skill, intelligence, and a long-term vision. He has recovered economic maneuvering margin, freed the team from heavy salaries, managed entries and exits with admirable balance, and now finds himself in a position to bet on a player like Nico, who will not only bring top-level football from the first minute with an immediate impact, but can also become one of the team's references in the medium and long term, an icon for the fans and future generations. And when a young talent of this caliber wants to arrive, when the coach insists on his tactical integration, and when the fans enthusiastically approve, the transfer becomes a moral and sporting obligation. In fact, Hansi Flick has been one of the firmest and most forceful voices in favor of this transfer, its main defender. The German coach, aware of the importance of building a winning project with young players of proven quality and unwavering personality, sees in Nico Williams a fundamental strategic piece for his game scheme, a key element to unbalanced matches, someone who can alternate positions in the attacking front with total naturalness, who can create abysmal differences in individual duels, surpassing his markers with ease, and who, above all, understands Barcelona's collective game, this association. Football that makes it unique. And what does the Barcelona fanbase think of all this? What do you think, you who have been waiting for years with admirable patience for Barça to rebuild from identity, from training, and from authentic talent? Don't you think that Nico Williams represents everything we want to see on the Camp Nou pitch? Youth, an immense desire to triumph, refined technique, constant unbalance, humility in his attitude, and limitless ambition. These are precisely the fundamental keys to recovering the greatness of our club, to lifting the most prestigious titles once again. And the fact that he has rejected other economically far superior offers in many cases to prioritize Barça demonstrates that we are facing a different player, a footballer with a clear vision of his career, someone who is not swayed by astronomical figures or projects devoid of sporting content, but seeks a team, an environment where his football makes sense, where his quality can explode to the maximum, and where he can feel identified. The third piece of news concerns a huge twist at Barcelona. The blue and deep red machine doesn't stop for a moment. While the name of Nico Williams continues to resonate strongly in the offices, with the usual optimism for his desire to wear our jersey, the sports management, headed by Joan Laporta, leaves nothing to chance. In a move that demonstrates the planning and cunning we have long awaited, Barcelona is resolutely advancing towards its Plan B, and it's a name that excites and fits perfectly: Karim Adeyemi. Yes, the Kules, the young and talented 23-year-old winger, a shining star of Borussia Dortmund, is positioning himself as a more than real option and, crucially in these times, significantly more viable for the Catalan club. Hansi Flick's green light has already arrived in the city, dispelling any doubt about his integration into the hustle and bustle of the transfer market, where tension and speculation are daily occurrences. Barcelona is demonstrating a maturity and strategy that we haven't seen in a long time. This is not just a simple, just in case, but a well-defined roadmap. While the priority remains Nico Williams for his profile and undeniable desire to join Camp Nou, the management cannot afford to depend on a single operation, especially when Athletic Club has entrenched itself in its position of not negotiating and demands full payment of the release clause, an amount close to 58 million euros. This is where the figure of Adeyemi comes into play, with a transfer price set by Dortmund at around 30 million euros, almost half of what is being asked for the Spanish footballer. An abysmal difference that not only represents a relief for the club's finances, but also opens up a range of financial and operational possibilities. The arrival of Hansi Flick on the bench has been a catalytic factor in this operation. The German coach, who is very familiar with German football and the emerging talents of the Bundesliga, sees in Karim Adeyemi a player profile that fits perfectly with the philosophy he wants to implement at Barcelona. Adeyemi is not just pure speed and dribbling. He also possesses tactical intelligence, the ability to play on both wings and as a false nine, an asphyxiating high press, and a remarkable goal-scoring instinct. His characteristics, competitive mentality, and tactical discipline, so rooted in German football, make him a golden piece for Flick's system, which seeks an intense, vertical team but also one capable of dominating matches through possession and order. Adeyemi's versatility would allow Flick multiple offensive combinations, giving depth and variance to the Barcelona attack, something that has been lacking in previous seasons. In addition to his undeniable technical and physical quality, the fact that Adeyemi is already familiar with high-demand football, regularly competing in the Bundesliga and the Champions League with Dortmund, and being a regular in the lower categories and already in the absolute team of Germany, gives him an advantage. He would not need a long adaptation period, and his integration into the dressing room, with the presence of compatriots and the influence of Flick himself, would be more than natural. The opinion of the German coach has been decisive. He has given his green light without hesitation, convinced that the young German has the potential not only to shine at Camp Nou but also to become one of the offensive references of the team in the coming years. In a team that seeks to rejuvenate its squad and bet on talent with room for growth, Ademy represents a market opportunity that Barcelona should not let pass under any circumstances. Joan Laporta's management once again demonstrates its ability to overcome difficulties and adapt to market circumstances. Athletic clubs' insistence on Nico Williams' clause, although legitimate from their point of view, has opened the door to considering top-level alternatives. And Karim Adeyemi is not just a consolation, he is a golden opportunity. The fact that Borussia Dortmund, a club with which Barcelona has maintained a good institutional relationship after past operations, is asking for only €30 million for a player of his projection and talent is a figure that fits perfectly into the adjusted economic reality of the Blaugrana club. This lower cost would allow Barcelona to maintain room for maneuver for other necessary signings or to adjust its wage bill without compromising future moves. It is not a reduction of expectations but an intelligent management of available resources in an inflationary market. Securing a winger of Adeyemi's quality for this price would be a real bargain, a strategic move that would leave many rivals speechless. It is a demonstration that Barcelona, despite its economic challenges, remains attractive to great talents and, more importantly, has the ability to conclude operations with speed and cunning when the opportunity arises. Flexibility and adaptation are key in modern football, and Laporta knows this well. The idea of a strong and competitive Barcelona does not only involve high-profile signings but also the incorporation of players who add value both sportingly and economically. And Adeyemi fulfills both conditions perfectly. Personally, as a Cule who loves this club above all else, the possibility of seeing Karim Adeyemi wear the blue and deep red jersey excites me enormously. I recognize that Nico Williams is a player with special talent and that his desire to come is a plus, but the economic viability and tactical integration of Adeyemi into Flick's scheme seem more convincing to me today. The idea of seeing Karim Adeyemi wear the Barcelona jersey excites you, understanding the complexity of the Nico Williams operation? Do you think Adeyemi is the ideal plan B, a strategic transfer that fits perfectly into what the club needs and Hansi Flick's philosophy? Do you value the economic viability and lower cost of the transfer more in the face of the possibly more complicated possibility of Nico? Personally, I have clear ideas. I firmly believe that Barcelona must go for Karim Adeyemi. He is a player for the present and the future, with immense talent and a reasonable price in the current market. His arrival would not only strengthen a key position but also consolidate the idea of an ambitious project with quality alternatives and a sports management that knows how to move with intelligence. It would be a move that would generate excitement among the fans and, above all, give a leap in quality to the team. This is not the time to doubt. It is the time to act with conviction and seize the opportunities that arise. Barcelona remains the destination for great talents, and Adeyemi is one. Let him come and start dancing at Camp Nou. Let us know in the comments what you think.